Welcome to Money Talks. I'm Ed Marshall. Thousands of tourists from around the world come to New Orleans. It's the premier vacation location for couples, singles, and families. Living here, we can often take for granted this city that has so much to offer. Many locals, however, are now taking staycations, vacations right here in the Crescent City. And with just a few weeks left of summer, budget-conscious families are also getting in on the staycation excitement. We'll tell you more about that when we come back.
A new team, new editorial resources.
The same objective analysis of the top business news of the day.
Every weeknight, complete market coverage.
With the business and economic stories that are crucial to you.
Nightly business report.
Weeknights at 5:30 p.m. on WLAE.
Well, welcome back. We're talking more about staycations or vacations at home. And here to tell us more is Miss Lauren Kaysen with the New Orleans Convention and Visitors Bureau. Lauren, welcome to the show. It's so good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I'll tell you, lots of people are getting in on these staycations. So fill us in on people say, what's a staycation? And why are families deciding to, become tourists in their own hometowns?
Well, in New Orleans, we welcome about 9.5 million people each year. And so they come to experience all these wonderful things that we have in our city. You know, we have over 1,400 restaurants now. We have incredible hotels, attractions. So the summertime in August and September is really a great time for us to see what everyone's coming to visit and do in New Orleans. We actually do 2 campaigns during the summer: Be a Tourist in Your Own Hometown, and Culinary. Be a Tourist in Your Own Hometown is throughout the months of August and September, and we have all of the local hotels and attractions and restaurants have provided wonderful deals for locals specifically to come and be a tourist in their own hometown. So things like kayaking or a rum distillery tour. Great stays. The Royal Sonesta has a great deal starting from $159 a night. So things that you normally wouldn't maybe take advantage of doing, but experiencing things that have maybe been on your wish list for a long time. Maybe you haven't taken a river cruise on the Mississippi or been to the Insectarium. There's lots of family-friendly activities, just simple things like riding the streetcar and going get beignets at Cafe Du Monde.
And that's a lot of fun. And we used to be known as a party city, but we are really known now as, if you want to party, sure, but we also are known now as a staple for family vacations.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's one thing that we've definitely tried to show people over the past few years, and the development in the different neighborhoods, that there's so much to the city, and just get out and enjoy the things that are in your backyard that you maybe don't think to do on any given weekend. There's great value in the summer, and it's a great time to get out and dine in our restaurants. So our Culinary Restaurant Month is the whole month of August. They're menus that have 3-course dinners for under $39.
Wow.
2 and 3-course lunches for under $20. And this year we've actually added a brunch menu, so a 3-course brunch menu for under $39. So a great opportunity to get out with your family on the weekend, enjoy a great brunch, meet up with friends that you haven't connected with in a long time. We all have our list of restaurants we want to try, and now's a great opportunity as locals to get out and have great meals.
One of the surprising things, and we had this on our show last month, was that so many people, the World War II Museum has become like one of the big attractions in the city.
It has. They actually have had a record-breaking year, and that museum brings people from around the world, around the country, where it's an incredible museum for us here in New Orleans, and it's expanded so much. They just expanded a new wing in December, and then they will again in December. So even if you've been, there's definitely something new to see.
Yeah.
A part of our Be a Tourist campaign is also August is Museum Month. So if you're a member of any of the museums here, you can get access to all the museums in the month of August at no additional fee. So your membership will be extended through all the museums, and it'll get you and a guest in. So it's a great opportunity. It's a great inside activity too when it's a little hot in the middle of the day,
So you can take a little cool break.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Because you've got Ogden Museum, you got the Black History Museum, and Tremay, NOMA, New Orleans Museum of Art. I mean, it's just some wonderful things. And the kids get a chance to experience and see the art that's done locally, as well as the pieces that come in from around the world.
Absolutely.
You
So
know,
much to see, and
It,
so much
it really
to do.
is. What are some of the favorite things that people tell you all about at the Convention and Visitors Bureau that they got a chance to experience that sticks out in their minds?
I think one thing that I think is becoming a trend across the board in travel, and something that we've grown a lot in the past few years, is bike tours. You know, biking's become so popular, a great way for locals to get around, but it's a great way for visitors and, you know, locals, when we're experiencing the city, to get around to the different neighborhoods and see what they each have to offer, get a good overview, not have to be in the car and worrying about parking, but just being able to zip from place to place. So that's a great trend that we've seen pick up a lot in New Orleans, and visitors really seem to like it. You know, tours in general, just, you know, we have so many unique tours with our haunted tours, our voodoo tours, but then just being on the water as well, you know, taking a ride on the steamboat Natchez, or, you know, the little things, beignets and po' boys, you know, these unique food experiences that we can only do here in New Orleans.
Yeah, you know, my daughter came to town, and I hadn't been to the Wax Museum in years. I won't say how many years.
Right.
But it was such a good experience to go back, because when I took her way back, she was like 9, and of course now she's older. But it was so neat, because I had almost forgotten that the Wax Museum was there. And we spent like an hour just going through there, just looking at the historical pieces that they have. It's amazing the kind of things that are just stored here, and just the history of New Orleans is enough to take a staycation, don't you think?
Absolutely, and I think we all get busy in our day-to-day lives and don't realize how much time has passed since we've visited, you know, some of these great attractions, and they've evolved. You know, they may not be exactly the same as you remember them, so it's a great place for us to get reacquainted with all we have to offer in the city.
And you mentioned the streetcar. Of course, the streetcar is expanding, so now people will really be able to get around, won't they?
Exactly. RTA is working on the Rampart Street line that will connect, you know, the French Quarter all the way to the Bywater, even more directly. So that's great value to locals and visitors in the
And if
coming
they
year.
want to stop in and see you guys, you all are right on the streetcar line.
We are. We're on St. Charles Avenue, and we have a great welcome center with lots of information. So we're at 2020 St. Charles Avenue.
Well, tell our audience, where can they go if they want to just kind of go to the email or website?
Our website's a great resource for things to do in New Orleans, and it's www.neworleanscvb.com.
That is super. Do you have any little kids coming down to go to the zoo or anything like that?
Oh, I'm sure. And then City Park is great. There's so many children's things to do for families and kids. You know, kayaking right there on the bayou. So.
Yeah. Well, you just led me into the next. Right, if we take a commercial, we're going to come back and talk about City Park. And City Park, because it's such a large park, it can be a vacation all to itself. So when we come back, we're going to talk more about City Park. Lauren, thank you for being with us. Really appreciate it. We'll be right back, so stay with us for more Money Talks coming your way. Don't go anywhere.
Katrina has unleashed complete and utter devastation on New Orleans.
Nonprofits have responded immediately, helping to rebuild homes and lives.
More than 50 schools are scheduled to reopen by the end of the month.
So many have contributed to the astounding progress in this region.
I've never been more optimistic and hopeful about the city than I am today.
Since the storm, nonprofits and their supporters have worked tirelessly to turn things around. Thank you, all of you. Before, during, after, always.
Well, you know, City Park is a special place for people all over the river region, and to discover all the park has to offer, it can sometimes take days, literally, and it can become a vacation destination all to itself. And here to tell me more about that, of course, is Amanda Fritz with the City Park. She's the media executive. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's so good to have you. It's one of my favorite places. I think it's everybody has a story to tell about City Park, you know.
I really think that they do, whether they're getting married there or engaged, bringing their grandkids. It's a great place.
One of my dear friends, from Harvard went to school with me. He came down and he got married in City Park. And so it was a beautiful experience right there under the Pavilion area.
Lovely.
Really nice.
We're actually one of the #1 places in New Orleans to get married, and we're very proud of that for sure.
Didn't know that. That's wonderful for our audience to know as well, in case people are looking for a place to get married. Of course, tell us more about what City Park has to offer, in case people out there, some of the things that they may not know about, especially starting with the trees. I find that this is a very significant point, so tell us.
Absolutely. We have the largest collection of mature live oaks in the entire world.
That is serious, and especially since Katrina, we still hold that distinction.
We absolutely do. Some of our oldest trees are in what we call our Old Grove. It's between Bayou Metairie and City Park Avenue, and that is a sliver of the city that actually did not sit in the waters from Katrina and the levee failures. So those trees definitely will be around for much longer, and they can definitely tell the tale of what they saw. They can
definitely tell the tale. That is fantastic. So many people think City Park is like, Central Park in New York is the big oak tree park, but it is us. So now you know that tidbit. Tell us about some of the things that people really go to when they're not getting married at City Park, some of the special places that families can participate in, or if you're just a single person, you want to just get out and just play tourist.
Absolutely. We have an amusement park in City Park. We have 17 rides, including a 100-year-old carousel, as well as our brand new Ladybug roller coaster.
I heard Ladybug roller coaster was back up. That's a really big draw.
It is. It's really fun. We had an employee day a few weeks ago, and I think I rode it 8 times in a row. It was a lot of fun, so that was really great. And we have lots of other rides as well for all ages.
Yeah.
Storyland's always a big part of growing up in New Orleans. We have about 20 fairy tale items in the park to check out. We also have City Putt, which is relatively new. It's about 2 years old.
Yes.
It's the only mini golf in the metro area.
Right.
And there's 2 courses. One is the New Orleans course, one is the Louisiana course, 36 hole. It's challenging for adults, but really fun for kids as well.
I tell you, one of the people who's our community, a person that people go to for Ask Ashton, Ashton Ryan was really big in making sure that came back, because he loves that, and so many kids who love to get out there and play. I mean, you go out there and you just watch all these families who, they reminisce about the old putt-putt, and then now it's the new putt-putt that's out there, and it's totally expanded. It's really nice.
It's really beautiful. A lot of the parts of City Putt have sculptures. We've got a Mr. Bingle. We have a big can that has a crawfish boil in it. So it's stimulating for the eyes as well as a lot of fun.
And then, of course, when Mr. Bestoff, Sidney Bestoff, who's a dear gentleman of the arts, he also donated all the different artwork that's out there that people can see. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. The Sculpture Garden is really part of NOMA as well, and it's beautiful. It is free to get into, which is wonderful. And it actually has a front gate up at the front of the park, and as you walk through the back gate, it actually leads you straight to our botanical garden, which is beautiful all year round.
And in that botanical garden, of course, sits the Court of Two Sisters, where events are held, and I tell you, it's a beautiful, beautiful backdrop for anything you want to do.
It really is. Every month, the whole landscape changes. If you're able to come, I say please do bring your camera, bring your family. It is a place for kids as well. It's really, really beautiful.
Yeah. And of course, and then you've got the big, beautiful museum, NOMA. I mean, it's so striking. And of course, the way everything has been re-landscaped leading up to it with the crepe myrtles and all that, with the Trust for Public Land. Just a really neat. And you got the walk, and people are taking advantage of that big walk around all the time, and it also leads to better health for families.
Absolutely. If you come by in the mornings, especially on the warm days, or around 5:30, 6 o'clock, you'll see hundreds of people out there bringing their dogs, bringing their kids. There's a lot of artwork to see at Big Lake.
Yes.
Also at Big Lake, we do bike rentals and boat rentals.
Oh yeah.
So there's lots of people who take advantage of that.
Because I see people with the what is that called, the paddle boats or whatever. Pretty neat thing. I've been wanting to do it, but I'm kind of,
Just find some friends, get in a boat for 4 people, and you'll have a great time.
Yeah. And hanging in one of those trees in Big Lake area is this big, what is that musical piece that someone put out there? It is, and you can hear it when the wind is blowing. It is super, super neat.
The piece is called the Singing Oak.
Singing Oak.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's near where Wisner hits Lelong, so it's at the very front of the park. I always like to tell people you hear it before you see it. There's a bunch of wind chimes, and the largest one is actually 14 feet long.
It's huge.
It's huge. It's beautiful sounding, especially when it's windy.
Yeah. Well, John Harper, who's the director out there, my executive buddy out there, he does a super job. And he always tries to make sure that the park remains family friendly. And that's very important, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. We're definitely a place for families. And if you're, newly married, it's a great place. It's all, it's a place for everyone.
Right,
really.
right. And people have picnics out there all the time. And of course, you've got the big dog park, which I think is super. You see people out there walking, and it's a neat place, so the dogs can get water or whatever, and you can feel like you're in an environment where there are other people who have similar interests.
Absolutely. The dog park in particular is a great place. We were one of the first dog parks in the city for sure. I believe we're one of the largest for sure. And I bring my dog there. Your dog gets to meet other dogs, socialize, run around, and my dog usually falls asleep on the way home. So.
That's a pretty good thing. And for people who want more information about City Park as a staycation destination spot, because truly you can stay there all day and not see everything.
It can take a couple of days, absolutely.
Yeah.
But if people would like to go to our website, it's neworleanscitypark.com. We have all the information you can use, and if you're looking for something specific and you don't see it, we have a nice search bar up at the top right. Type it in. If not, give us a call. Anybody who picks up the phone would love to help out anybody else.
Of course, I opened this segment by saying that everybody has a special place about City Park. What's your favorite part about City Park? If you had to say one area that you truly, truly love.
I usually like to break it up in months because there's always so many things going on. But as you, in the month of July, as you're coming in the front of the park, down Lelong towards Museum, there's a lot of crepe myrtles. And usually they all bloom in August,
Yes.
but in July they get a little faked out. The trees next to the light posts bloom first. And so it's very interesting.
Yeah.
You got to look for those small things, the little things that make you happy.
I can see you're very passionate about your job, so you're a great person to have there. We appreciate you so much. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it, and tell John and the rest of the gang out there we said hello, and keep doing what you all are doing, and keep making City Park one of our destination points.
We promise.
Okay. All righty. And usually this time of our show, we have our Common Sense reporter, Shannon Ryan. Well, Shannon's on special assignment, but of course, with being out in the sun, we need to have some tips. So she left us some tips while she's on special assignment. She said to let you know that it's important to have some essentials with you, especially when you're in a hot climate like New Orleans. And some of Shannon's safety tips include wear appropriate clothing, real important, including a wide-brimmed hat if you really, really can't stand the sun, because some people have real problems with that. And of course, take frequent water breaks. That's real important. Stay hydrated. And of course, apply sunscreen. No matter what your ethnicity, people don't realize that everyone needs sunscreen these days, particularly the sunscreen with the SPF of at least 15. And of course, never leave your kids or pets unattended in vehicles or in public places, whether you're in New Orleans or anywhere else. Always keep them by your side when checking out the sites during your staycation. So those are some wonderful tips from Shannon. And again, she's on special assignment. And when she comes back next month, you'll know where she was. Okay, we'll be back with more Money Talks after this, so please stay with us.
Proud of our young people when they graduate.
Fridays at 6 p.m. on WLAE.
Well, it's important that no matter where you vacation, here at home or someplace else, to always be mindful of your safety. Joining me to tell us more about that is Crime Stoppers Executive CEO, Ms. Darlene Costanza. As always, good to have you with us.
Thank you, Mr. Marshall.
Darlene, talk to us about it. You know, we don't want to take our guard down, even when we're vacationing or staycationing, right?
Definitely, and there's great things to do, but you always need to use common sense. But a couple of things is you want to make sure that you know the path that you're going to be traveling in is a well-traveled area. Typically, convention centers will tell you, this is sort of the heart of town. Stay in those areas. When you park, you want to make sure you're following all traffic laws, and you want to be sure to not leave anything in plain view in your car. So many people get upset when someone breaks into the car. If you leave money, cash, phones, even GPS systems, lock them either in your glove compartment or in your trunk. And most of all, make sure that your children always know that if something would happen where one of you would get lost, where do we go back? Remember those Boy Scout rules. Where do we meet back? And make sure they know where the nearest first responder helper could be.
Very good tips. What else is happening with Crime Stoppers?
Well, Crime Stoppers is so excited with K10 being here that we were able to reflect on the wonderful relationships we have with all the different agencies in law enforcement and first responders. And it's been several thousands of tips that citizens has provided to us that we've been able to pass along since Hurricane Katrina. And we're actually celebrating the lives of the police officers who have regretfully lost their lives since Katrina, but the fact that the community can celebrate and join with them in support of them at our Blues Night, which is September 9th at the House of Blues. So we're looking at a wonderful opportunity to showcase the wonderful things that they do, law enforcement, and how Crime Stoppers has had that opportunity to partner with.
Super. And if people want to get in touch and participate, how do they do that?
They can call us at our Crime Stoppers office, which is actually 837-8477, or to go to crimestoppersgno.org and join us September 9th at the Blues Night.
All righty. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right. We'll have more of Money Talks after this.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital is literally saving kids' lives.
It's a very special place, friendly place.
To see the kids that they're helping on a daily basis was unbelievable.
Families never receive a bill from St. Jude.
Discoveries made at St. Jude are freely shared.
The hardest cancer cases in the world go to St. Jude. We won't stop until no child dies from cancer.
Join us.
Join us.
In supporting Hoops for St. Jude.
Visit stjude.org/hoops to find out how.
We're excited that you, our audience, is interactive with us, and we receive numerous questions for community leader Ashton J. Ryan Jr. each month. Gaines Jumonville from Metairie wants to know, what are the advantages financial institutions have to using tax credits to help rebuild local communities? Here's Ashton's answer.
Instead, by using tax credits, we don't have to write the check to the federal government. Instead, we put it in projects that benefit our community locally and also make the market stronger, which makes our bank better. So as a community bank, we really focus on that. I wish more banks would do it. There are a number of banks in Louisiana that have gotten involved with tax credit financing and tax credit projects, but I'll be honest with you, across the country, there's a huge opportunity for other banks to do what we do. Historically, banks have invested in state municipal bonds, which are tax-free, in order to limit their tax liability. It'd be much better for them if they would put it into projects that would be benefiting their community, growing jobs, creating rehabilitation of old and blighted properties, helping maintain historic properties, helping low to moderate income achieve reasonable housing. All those things would be much better off than just buying municipal bonds. So I think it's a great thing for all banks to do that are in the area of real estate development and also in their community.
And there you have it. And of course, you can always reach us by contacting us on our website here at Money Talks. Well, the New Orleans Chamber of Commerce at its last meeting had in for its speaker the director of the Marshall Space Flight Center. And of course, the Space Center facility in Michoud in New Orleans East continues to play a major role in travel for space travel and is also a big part of the New Orleans economy.
NASA has been in this community since the beginning of NASA in 1961, and we have no intention of leaving anytime soon. So besides the vehicles that we've built here in Apollo, the Space Shuttle External Tank, and now the Space Launch System and the Orion Space Capsule, these are real jobs that not only the direct jobs, which is over 3,000 now in New Orleans East, which is easily in the top 20 in the entire state of Louisiana, But when you put that in the industry around us, you're over 5,000 jobs when you put in the indirect and direct jobs as well. So it's real jobs and really on the high paying side of the market as well.
And a lot of the people are local people that are, Louisianians or people who come in or whatever.
We do. We make it a concerted effort to make sure that the universities we partner with, the community colleges and the trade schools understand what we have as a mission. And we solve a lot of technological issues, and I have a lot of confidence that we'll overcome anything that we have on this SLS rocket. But we need to work together in the community to make sure the pipeline of students continue to come to not only be inspired to pursue the science, technology, engineering, and math majors, but to know that when they can finish those degrees, they can stay right here at home in New Orleans with a really great job.
So at the end of the day, whenever you retire, which hopefully will be years and years from now, what do you want people to remember you for in terms of NASA and the Space Center and Michoud?
I want people to be able to know that at least Patrick Sherman did his part when it was his turn to build on his predecessor's success of Apollo and Shuttle to deliver a system along with the rest of the team that will deliver this nation far beyond where we've ever been before in many decades to come.
So everything's a go.
Everything's a go. We're sitting on 3, 2, 1, and it's a go for SLS in New Orleans. Go spelled G-E-A-U-X.
And it's good to know that Patrick is also a native of St. Bernard Parish. Well, the Louis Satchel Armstrong Jazz Camp concluded a few weeks ago in grand style. The Jazz Camp students, staff, and instructors had worked meticulously for 3 weeks of camp to prepare for their show-stopping night at Loyola University's Performing Arts Center in New Orleans. Camp director Jackie Harris praised this year's camp as being one of the most successful in terms of scholarships given as well as sponsorships. There was some stomping on stage that brought back memories of stomping at the Savoy in New York from many years ago, and Norma Miller, who is the queen of swing, was a returning artist in residence. And the first-time artist in residence, Patrice Rushen, shared one of her hit songs, piano playing, and orchestra leading talents. It was a wonderful, wonderful time, and we're happy to be a part of that jazz camp. We'll have more when we come back, so stay with us.
You're watching WLAE, New Orleans Public Television. Find us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
We want to thank all the corporations across this region for giving young people jobs for the summer as interns, and they're about to go back to their different colleges and get back to their studying. And we wanted to talk to this young man. Your name?
Jeffrey Barbera. I'm a senior at LSU. This is my second year working with Money Talks, and it's been a great ride.
Okay, and
my name is Matthew Powery. I also go to LSU. I'll be a sophomore finance major in the fall, and I've had a great summer so far.
And your name?
My name's Tia Teamer. I am an upcoming sophomore at Loyola University, and I've enjoyed my experience here with Money Talks.
And of course, you are also a broadcast major, so why don't you lead us out of this segment?
Ed Marshall will be right back to wrap up this edition of Money Talks right after this.
Very good.
Weeknights at midnight on LAE.
August 29th marks the 10th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina and how it changed our lives forever in this region. Louisiana Public Broadcasting will air a special report on Katrina, which will be carried across the state beginning Sunday, August 23rd. Until next month, I'm Ed Marshall, and we'll see you.